Hey you guys, happy Friday. It's a really bright, bright and sunny walk for a mystery walk. I'm really considering, also it's 90 degrees here. As it gets closer to summer, I probably might need to do these later in the day, or earlier in the morning anyway. So we're all about Hollywood punk. I should have made that bigger. We'll take it off in a second, but that's sort of the theme of our walk today. Hey, Cecilia. Sorry guys, I was late. I've been using my little cheapy phone, as I like to call it, to do these walks and give me directions. Sorry, I'm trying to take that lady off. Hollywood punk. Woo! And she's gone. Okay. I just drank a whole bottle of water. I will probably need to get another bottle of water though. It is ripe out here. It is a super hot 90-degree day. I have the most ridiculous outfit on. Not that you want to know what I'm wearing, but I'm literally wearing khaki shorts, a khaki t-shirt, and a khaki ball cap. I look like a Cub Scout or something, a Weeblo. So, running a little late because I went to Kinko's, FedEx Kinko's, and I hate my cheapy phone. So, this is an area I'm so familiar with, I thought I would just print out my notes, old school style. Woo! I just heard a ding, hold on. Let me fix the gimbal real quick, because it's dinging. All right, it stopped. There are punk clubs in Chinatown for sure. I might do a Chinatown punk, because that's just as cool as Hollywood punk. So really kind of famous clubs in Hollywood. 00 Club, one of them. The Cathay de Grande, another one of them. And I mean, I heard of the 00 Club before I ever moved out here. I don't like the way I type this out. I feel like it's missing something. Anyway, we're not going to go that far because we are just kind of talking about the Hollywood part. You know, Hollywood. Where dreams are made, you know, that's the myth, right? But honestly, if there were dreams made here, they probably rotted by the late 70s. I don't mean to be negative about Los Angeles or Hollywood. I love it. So, you know, the movie studios kind of were no longer little monopolies on people. The kind of industry had burnt down, not burnt down, probably poor choice of words, a couple of decades before, and yeah, red carpets faded, movie palaces boarded up. The Egyptian was in really poor shape in the 80s and 90s, I believe. But I kind of feel like we're heading towards this time again, and I don't mean that in a negative way. Hold on for 1 second. I'm sorry? I don't smoke, but I have a lighter for some reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, hold on. I think you got it. All right. This is like the third taste of summer. I have no idea why I have a lighter in my pocket, but that might have been kismet that I had that lighter in my pocket to light that person's cigarette. My eyelids are sweating, by the way. My script, this really like nice white piece of paper right now, is probably going to look like a sweaty ball of mess. I don't have a cigarette. I don't smoke cigarettes. I should have asked him for one though, because we are going to talk punk and Hollywood. That would have been kind of fitting accessory. Here's Beechwood. Drives right into the movie studio. So I like to think, give what you can when you can. And a light, I should have just given him the lighter. Although, I might need it for some scented candles later. So, running a little late today, but I'm going to get back to the punk stuff. I'm running a little late today. I had to get dog food. And you might find this gross, but we are literally out of shampoo and deodorant and toothpaste. I'm using travel sizes, not because we can't afford it, but not because of the tariffs. Hey, Lady Sky. Not because of the tariffs, but because we've been terrible. So I thought I would, do a little errand running this morning, which I desperately needed to do. I guess I could have waited till tomorrow, but I don't like the travel toothpaste. It tastes extra lead-filled. So we're going to walk through Gower Gulch because we never do. Or do we? We usually are across the street from it. Has nothing to do with this walk. I have used a bar of soap in the past, but we don't have a bar of soap right now. I've actually been using like hyaluronic acid face wash for my everything. My skin feels great. I probably shouldn't have said that because Joe's going to get mad that I'm using the face wash. I'm definitely got a punk scented candle, or maybe it's more goth. One smells like a bonfire. The other one smells like a rainy day and wet books. I think I'm gonna do bonfire. It's so hot. I love that smell. So this area, like a lot of parts of town, hey there, was pretty derelict and run down. The movie theaters weren't showing movies anymore. People were into TV in the 50s and 60s, and all this stuff was probably a decrepit mess. But that's always when the artists come in. And they remake it, and then they get priced out. And that's what happened with the punks. I didn't go to the beach today. Well, first, Joseph's working, so I just went to Hollywood because I had planned this walk, and I wanted to take it. So out of all of that wreckage, like the LA punk scene was born in Hollywood. A similar sort of story in Chinatown. And also there are other places in the city that had their own like punk rebellion as well. Hey, happy Friday, Simply Sonora. So we're tracing a slightly darker path today. We won't mention the D word so I don't lose the ability to show you commercials for lawyers or gambling. Don't gamble, by the way. I don't know what even the commercials are for. Anyway, so we're taking a darker path. Disappearances, overdoses. Out of all that wreckage came Hey BD, hey Jamie, hey, if I missed anybody, welcome. So, we're gonna talk about one person that disappeared and another person that might have been unalived with a hammer, or that was unalived with the hammer. But there were a string of disappearances during this time, and it's the late 70s, early 80s, so they may or may not have something to do with the Night Stalker. But because the police really did not give a crap about this part of town and following up on anything, most of those, a lot of those disappearances, you know, probably went unnoticed, you know? Like, I'm gonna have to have a like emoji. It's the new like city was full of a lot of runaways and a lot of people escaping stuff. You know, in the 1800s we had gold, early 1900s oil, people flocked to California. 20s, 30s it was the movies. And that continued to the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. The weather is great. That's definitely a lot easier living. I did a lot of homework. Well, you know, and the reason why I did is because I don't really know a lot about LA's punk scene. I definitely was more into British music, I think, as we talked. I listened to The Clash today after our conversation yesterday. I probably know more and could discuss more about how The Clash came to be than these bands until today. The first place we're going to go to is called The Masque. It's a 1655 North Cherokee. So, Hollywood Boulevard, super seedy in the 70s. The theaters, just like Times Square, the movie theaters, turned into porno theaters. There were, and still are, a ton of exotic shops for clothing. I don't think during the time I've lived here there was a adult theater on Hollywood Boulevard. I think I scared that guy. Hey Chucks. Hey Cecilia, you are the best. Thank you for saying hi to people as I'm talking and walking. Hey Nomad. Also, this will help me not lose my place when I'm telling stories, I think. There's a lot of stimuli around me. So, very seedy, Hollywood Boulevard. We have walked up the Yucca corridor, which was seedy until the early, and I don't mean to say this because I know that people lived there and they had their lives there, but it was a crime neighborhood until the early 2000s. I can still see the outline of that Pussycat Theater. I've just never seen it open. The only movie theater, triple X movie theater I've seen, or actually two in Los Angeles that are open is, I think the Viper Room is barely open. There's one that was in West Hollywood, and that was also a Pussycat Theater, but I don't know that it was called, it might have been called the Studs Theater. I never went to it, I'm gonna let you know that. But maybe I should have. Maybe it would still be open. And then there is one that is still open, and that is actually kind of not far from my neighborhood. Not far from my neighborhood, actually right near the 101. It's called the Tiki Theater. I have never been to that either. I just feel like a lot of stuff happened musically during the late 70s and 80s. It's a really interesting time, and I love the fact that, like, I don't love punk music, but I love the rebellion, and I definitely feel a little punk. I don't know anything about that shouldn't, I almost said, I don't know anything about the LA music scene today, so that's not true. I think it's probably pretty interesting today, but I don't have another city to compare it to. We definitely, we are in Larry King Square. I just wanted to give you a heads up. This is where this was where CNN was until a month ago. Anyway. So what I've seen and what I like about the music scene nowadays is I'm so cool. I really only know about like sort of the underground music scene and not like the top 40 music scene. So maybe I'm watching the next Go-Go's right now. I doubt it, but or the next Belinda Carlisle. I feel like because of the vacancies in buildings, and I'm not really sure because we're not here to talk about what's going on with the economy, but like, you know, the bumps, I think that people will be taking stuff over again. The artists will rise. The best thing is I don't need to look at my map thing for today. Joe will keep you in the loop. We only go to actually pretty cool places, I have to say, as far as going to see shows. I mean, we've gone to the Palladium for sure. So this is Wilcox. It almost would be fun to walk up that way, but I want to stay in the shade. If you've ever seen what happened to... Have you ever seen whatever happened to Baby Jane, the newspaper that she goes to put the ad out, Betty Davis, that is that one. The building is pretty much the same. Of course, it's not a newspaper anymore. I think we should take a look at it. I would love a live stream from the Tiki Theater. Do you know about the Tiki Theater? Because it's really not where it's at, I gotta say. There's also still on Western, like we have an S shop, SEX shop. Can I say that without losing a commercial? I'm not condoning it. Yeah, I don't think you would be delighted by a stream from there. I don't think that's my brand. It's on Santa Monica Boulevard. We walk by it frequently on the stream. That's the Hollywood Athletic Club. There's definitely some history there that we can talk about. But I really want to show you the newspaper from whatever happened to Baby Jane. Cause what? Betty Davis, we love you, right? Even when she like became a Muppet in like the 70s and 80s. I don't like you're gonna see it in the periphery. It's like right before the 101, and I will say, oh, this is an awesome kind of shop. It predates the Depeche Mode album, by the way. So I feel like this is also a pretty coolly historical street. So before African Americans and gay people were allowed to travel freely, they both used different kind of books. One was the Green Book for African Americans, and then I think the Gay Pages for gay guys. And both of these hotels were in the Green Book. The Mark Twain, and then the Wilcox Hotel. All right. Also, not very punk, although Betty Davis in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, that was kind of a punk look, right? Even like a goth, or maybe a little more Japanesey. But anyway, this is where Betty Davis goes to place the ad for that accompanist on the piano. Let me see if I can. I've never seen Sid and Nancy, but give me a Joy Division documentary and I'm in. I think another crazy thing about punk is it sort of spread out all over the world, right? And there's London punk, there's Boston's kind of ska punk. Each kind of punk had its own little flavor, and LA's was definitely unique. I mean, we're still listening to X, the Go-Go's, who sprung out of this punk scene. Also, they just played Coachella, not Stagecoach. Also, they played with Green Day. And you could tell he was a Go-Go's fan. You could tell he sang that alone in his car. Billy Joel. Here's the YMCA. Imagine how many people booked a room there in the olden Hollywood days. All right. Joan Jett. Also, there's a really cool picture of Joan Jett standing on Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood before it was paved and before it was like, I don't even know if it's incorporated, before it was a city. It was like a no man's land, West Hollywood. Joan Jett was a badass, but the badder ass, I always loved me some Pretenders and Chrissie Hynde. Also not really punk, but new wave, but like, I'm talking about like maybe the first 3 albums. I also like, Show Me the Meaning of the World and Back on the Chain Gang. I was recently introduced to the Selena version of that, which makes the song heartbreaking. So this is the Hollywood Athletic Club. It's got a nice little plaque on it. It's probably having an event. Public parking is $20 here and no refunds. So before you pay that parking, make sure this is where you want to be. I love that the Department of Water and Power is in some kind of old restaurant. I don't know what restaurant that would have been. Anyway, I'm not gonna. The Hollywood Athletic Club. Billy Idol was one of. Oh, they're doing an event, so maybe we can just look at the plaque. No, it's open. All right, cool. Ooh, does anybody watch Mythic Quest? I love that show. So, Hollywood Athletic Club. The plaque is over there, so we'll take a look at it when these folks are done watching. So this is probably, think of it as a gentleman's athletic club, and it was home to the first Emmy Awards. Like anyone needs that. Hey, Ricky. Pretty cool building. No, I'm just filming for live on YouTube, doing a little tour of Hollywood. We're actually not talking about this building. We're looking at the old punk clubs that used to exist in the late 80s and late 70s and 80s, sorry. Yeah. Right? I know, I looked at it all the time. You know, as many times as I've walked by it, I kept reading first Oscars, which I knew not to be true, but
Emmys.
The Emmys.
Yeah.
I love TV.
And I looked it up in the old newspapers like 3 days ago, and it's true.
I believe it.
Yeah, it's true.
They wouldn't plaque it. Have a great day. Thank you for talking. Hi, Ricky. Hi, all. Welcome, welcome. If I haven't said it yet, welcome. If I haven't said hi to you personally, it's because I missed it. But I'm really glad you're here. If you're here and you're not chatting or haven't liked or subscribed, please feel free to. I would really gratefully appreciate that. We're in Hollywood. We're punking out. We're looking at a couple of extra things because we don't normally walk down this part of Sunset. So I think this was CBS Radio at one time. We are gonna look for the alley with the mask. I have a picture of it that I can pop up. I hope. Let me see. So that's what the alley looked like. I'm not sure when that picture's from, but let me get it out of here. The glare is just crazy. It's just a bright day. I want to go here, not here, but just past this. When I first moved here 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago, you could actually walk this next property that I want to show you, not this really awesome church. But the property after that, and I hear about them always gonna revive it, and it just never gets revived. And it's a bummer because it's such a cool piece of property. I guess nobody needs any of these anymore. That's the sort of what we're dealing with right now. Empty stores. But yeah. Oh my gosh! Thank you so much, Cecilia. I really can't see. Um, by the way, let me thank our subscribers and our members right now. And also a big thanks to Cecilia. That was super awesome. And I think it's definitely worthy of some hearts, some claps. I'm really into that heart. Okay. Also, maybe I shouldn't just stop there. That church is really cool. Exactly, man. So, hey there, how are you? So, up here we're going to find the very first outdoor shopping mall. Thank you for helping us, for supporting us and helping us to grow and turning on people to those memberships before. I really love that. So, Crossroads of the world, you used to just be able to waltz right in there. You've got some Frenchy looking buildings. I see a German looking building. Thank you so much, Cecilia. That's really sweet. I want to go in so bad. Should we climb the fence? Can somebody hold my gimbal? So, never quite gets the treatment. You know, the amazing thing about the punk shows, the most amazing thing that I saw was actually this sign. Check this out. Look how many shows you could see. You could see 5 punk bands for $1. What? We need more of that. I remember when I would go to shows at like kind of the underground Boston clubs, sorry. Um, they were like $8, $15. You would see 3, sometimes I would be seeing punk bands that I really didn't like just to be cool. You could see 3 bands. So if you guys watch any of the other people that make videos about Los Angeles, there are a couple videos about the Hollywood Center that we've walked by before and we've discussed before. They're about to tear it down. It dates back to 1905, obviously not the fence that we're looking at with the breeze blocks. It's in a ton of shows too, TV shows. So we might have passed Cherokee, Las Palmas. We did, because Cherokee goes up from here. So we are hunting for 1655 North Cherokee. I take Cherokee all the time. I forgot that it stops at the Village of the World. Gives us an opportunity to see some more of the buildings. I mean, the Crossroads of the world. Wouldn't it be awesome if they made it a bunch of little tiny restaurants in there and each one had like the cuisine of the building? I would go to that. I think a lot of people would go to that, although there's probably only room for 2 cars of parking. So because it's so bright out, I've limited really to what I can see on my screen. And I have to keep an eye on the charge, which I can't see at all. Oh, we'll figure it out. Anyway, look at this little house. I feel like you're whisked away to another land. Or they hid that land behind a fence. I had friends that lived in this apartment building on the right. Really great windows and like little built-ins. So you can kinda, I mean, I really probably could just walk in here. Should I do it? Yeah. So you can kinda, sorta, I can't believe I might get kicked out, or that siren might be for me. So imagine, this is the parking. Maybe people had less cars, but like little 20s and 30s, people riding here and going in their car and going to these exotic shops. Like this one, that looks like old Morocco, or, you know, what little old white people thought Morocco looked like. My pits are so sweaty right now, you would not be loving the weather. So, I can't believe I'm... Now we are in Old Salzburg. I'm taking you to Germany, Giuseppe. I bet this was a great place to get like Black Forest cake. When am I gonna get busted? I've totally avoided coming in here because of the front gate. It's been locked for so long. I heard a human voice. Like, this is kind of as cool. It's like kind of themey, like our new Chinatown, right? They should turn it into housing. I would totally live in that lighthouse right there. Crossroads of the world. You can travel the world in an afternoon. But it's not open, so you won't be able to. But here we are. Breaking. It feels like a haunted, old, empty mall. So it probably, again, late 60s, this area, white, was kind of getting really like seedy. Everybody was moving to the valley. When am I gonna get kicked out? That's the rectory. It's not part of this complex, but it looks like housing now. All right, so in the center of all of this, these many lands, is a steamboat. Nice homes. I would live here. I just want to make sure my live status is on. All right. So, cute. This little shop over here opens out to the front. But that's the steamboat. Or Titanic. Check out my khaki outfit. I hope I'm I'm standing up straight and look fit and trim. Right, this is totally, I could totally see this as a seafood restaurant. The lobster boat, right up there. This just speaks to like the cleverness of architecture. I don't know why this is part of the Windsor Square Hancock Park Historical Society. But there you go. I don't know if you got a little closer. And I can't tell if you can read it because the screen is, I'm assuming you had a chance to read it. It says, Crossroads of the World, 1936. I was saying 20s cars. Robert V. Dara architect, a blend of modern, with an E, and old world architecture, declared historic cultural monument number 134 by the Cultural Heritage Commission, Cultural Affairs Department of the City of Los Angeles. Well, it just looks like a brown square to me. I would love having an office here or something here. I would probably be inspired by the old world funnery of it all. Tiled steps. A fleur-de-lis. Oh, magnifique.
Cameraman, who are you with?
I'm just filming for YouTube. I have not walked through this property for like 20 years.
Where's PP property?
Right? I'm just checking it out.
You leaving now?
I am absolutely leaving now. Well, that was really great timing. I'm getting kicked out as I'm walking out. I don't really know what he meant by PPPT. Oh, private property. PP, I guess he said. And then they got a new sign in the 60s trying to revive the place, and it just wasn't a draw. The thing is, you cannot miss this place. I lived, when I first moved here and lived in Hollywood, my first Hollywood stop, I literally lived right down the street from that on Fountain. And there was a period of time where the job I moved out here with, I was like, why don't I look for something new to do? And so I took some time off and I discovered that place. Oh, this apartment building is abandoned now. Oh, my friend who lived there had said, I always wanted to live in one of those Hollywood courtyard apartment buildings, so I'm glad they got the opportunity. It was a pretty, like you can tell the windows are really cool, and I just remember it having extra, you name it, like a phone bench, a stink closet. So, if we're going to discuss upcoming things, we are going to go to the fair next Thursday. If anybody had clicked on it and it said Wednesday, I made a bad choice. So, an ill choice. I'm deliriously hot. I want a slush puppy. Although I don't want that feeling afterwards. Most of those buildings are kind of empty. I think they try to rent that place all the time. So we're on Cherokee, I hope. Or are we on Selma? We're on Las Palmas. We gotta walk one more to Cherokee. Wednesday we're gonna go on the Gold Line somewhere, or what I keep calling the Gold Line. I haven't decided yet, but I really I'm feeling Long Beach-ish because, hey there, how are you? Because I don't know if I ever have been, I've never been there on a train before. This is the back of Crossroads of the world. That's the lighthouse I want to live in. Well, I don't want to live in the lighthouse part. So I'm torn between two places. I will decide by Monday where we go. So here we are on Cherokee, 1600 North. We are looking for 1655. Always be prepared for this to be gone. So, as far as Hollywood punks go, this was one of many ground zeros actually. The Masque. It opened in 1977. So, this building had a porn theater in it. And the Masque was located under the porn theater. I need to add to my we're not in Los Angeles anymore category. So we're just below Hollywood Boulevard. And maybe it's sunny. Sunny. $16.55. Hey Brandon, I really can't see the screen. I can only see it sometimes, but hey, welcome everybody. 1655. This looks like it could be a punk club. It's got no address. And Bordner's has no address. And the entrance actually would be right there. Let me make sure I got my addresses right before you come down to see this place and you're visiting across the street. So, notice of public hearing, Worlds of Wonder. This is Bordner's, which is a Hollywood legend. So let me pull up my picture of the club. I'll put that plugged in. Hold, please. Just to, we'll have some frame of reference. Did I even put it here? Da-da-da-da. Maybe I deleted it because I did just show it. Anyway, here's some flyers from this place. I'm kind of feeling like this is it, although I can't find an address per se. I'm gonna stand in the shade. World of Wonder they're the people that do like, I forget. Oh my gosh. Anyway, here we are. Let's talk about this punk club and why it's important. So the thing that made Hollywood really perfect for punks and artists, of course, is the fact that it was cheap, it was run down, and places like this were desperate for business, right? You couldn't get more underground than the Masque, literally, because it was underground. One regular here, actually, was a person that disappeared from this time. Belinda Bambi Cottrell. After a show one night, she vanished. Days later, her body was found in the Hollywood Hills. No arrests, no answers, just another life lost in the city's shadows. The police really didn't care about punks. I mean, the club's gone, but are the ghosts still here? That's a really good question to ask yourself. So Hollywood in the 1970s was a disaster zone. Again, I keep saying this, I love Hollywood. I would have loved to have lived in that disaster zone, TBH. Abandoned buildings, which we still have. Porn theaters, which we don't have enough of. Flashing neon, again, we don't have enough of. Trash everywhere. I saw someone mopping the sidewalk when I was down on Hollywood. It's a lot cleaner than it was. But the broken down atmosphere and streets kind of matched everything that was punk. I have more to share. I just can't see what I'm looking for because my screen is so tiny. Here's another one, Social Distortion. We've all heard of Social Distortion. Those are the kind of shows, actually, like, I went to. I didn't love the music. I wasn't going to them at that time either, 1978. But I was seeing bands like 7 Seconds, who were pretty famous. So rundown, broken streets, a really nice reflection of punk, right? But it wasn't just punks here, actually. And we're talking about Bambi. There were a lot of disappearances in this area. So this was the time of the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, who we talk about a lot. The city had really lost control at this time. I feel like, just researching it and reading about it. Wow, Laura Levin, thanks for joining. So the next spot, we're gonna walk up Cahuenga. I'm sweating in the back, is the 00 Club. I saw a lot of pictures from that. Sounded like pure chaos. I love the fact, did I show you what this paper looked like when I started? It's already got sweat marks, little crinkles. Oh, Cecilia, a big shout out to Cecilia. So I used to go to clubs in Boston, maybe in the 90s. They probably had nothing on this place. They're after hours clubs. I think one was called The Loft. It was a couple floors, open from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Perfect. No liquor, but everything else. But imagine LA in the 70s when the police really probably didn't care about these people. A lot of these people were probably runaways. So they disappeared. Why would they care? Also, the police hated punks. And if you think about the late 70s and 80s, the people that would have been in their like 40s or 50s were still like suburban crew cut guys. Also, oh shoot, I totally missed my walk. I do think a lot of people, I feel like you could do a lot more. Actually, you might be able to too. I feel like you could do a lot more with no college in the 70s or 80s. or 60s or 50s. I also feel like part of the punk stuff was that the feeling of a little bit of helplessness too, and rising against that. But I definitely, hey West Coast G, happy Friday afternoon. It is roasting out here today. We're walking over to Cahuenga. Hey, how are you? So welcome to Hollywood. He is keeping the street clean. I wish I showed you guys him. How sweet. Everyone thinks I'm a tourist, right? I really love this building. I say it all the time. I would love to have the apartment with the little balcony up there, although I would never go out. It's the Blaine building. It is one of the most beautiful Spanish revival buildings on Hollywood Boulevard. I remember when I first came here in the early 2000s, there were a lot more people sitting on the sidewalk, just bumming cigarettes and hanging out or skateboarding or smoking smoking the pots. I couldn't imagine more fun teenage years, actually. So, like the Loft, the 00 Club is also after hours club. So no rules. I don't know if there was liquor there, but I think there was. Music, fights, and madness all night long. And, you know, Cahuenga, we're right on Yucca right there. That, you know, I miss being able to barbecue, which I haven't done for, well, since I rented a Airbnb with a barbecue. I could almost go swimming. Well, I'd love to go swimming. We have a pool, but I wouldn't go swimming in the pool in my apartment. It's one of those old 60s courtyard buildings that the pool is in the center and everybody's living room looks at the pool. Not mine, though. Thank God. I'm just having a shade break for 1 minute. A shade break and a punk break to appreciate Dolores Del Rio and her mural. A graduate of Hollywood High. Hey, LA Unknown, how's it going? So we're gonna dip back down. We're making our way to Cahuenga. I just want to try to take the side streets. Please work with me on this. We don't always walk down these streets, although I think we've walked down this one a number of times. So, not to be confused with 00, that's the Zero Lounge. I wonder if they knew of the history of 00 when they opened that place. I would like to think that they did. So when we were waiting for Mindy Kaling, somebody, and I think it was BD, asked me about the plaque that mentioned the Brown House. I'm pretty sure we've walked by it before. We'll take a look at it right now because it's right here. So it might be a repeat. That's the Brown House. All of Hollywood Boulevard was lined with houses like that. Sort of little Dutch colonial action there. I love that roof. It's perfect for snow sliding off. I'm gonna put my script in my pocket. I should probably cross the street where the shade is. Hold on. All right, I'm just charging up to avoid any complications later. I also think that when it's this hot out, it does drain the equipment a little faster. So I remember I overheated my I cannot say that, DJI camera a couple times last summer, where it just had to shut down. It's like if you leave your iPhone on the seat of the car or your phone on the seat of the car. I don't know if all phones do that. I'm always overheating my iPhone. Hey, Deborah, let me take a second. I wasn't punk. I was a little more new wave, I would say. Totally different head. If you get that joke, you get it. But it was not punk, new wave. Totally different head. Totally different vibe. But I hung out with the punkers. And the deadheads. I tried to watch The Decline of Western Civilization, kind of looking stuff up for this, and I really couldn't get through it. I feel like I saw parts of this movie when I was I almost said school, when I was like in high school, because, again, I hung out with punkers. But it was really kind of hard to watch. I think I watched it like first thing, so I didn't have enough knowledge about the topic to watch it and really get the most out of it that I could get. So maybe I'll go back and watch it afterwards. We are right next to the Lido. Not a punk note. I mention this pretty frequently too, but the Lido Hotel, this is where they took the album cover for Hotel California. I know how much we all love the Eagles. I don't like Hotel California, the song. I think it scared me as a child because it's about the devil. I was really afraid of the devil for a non-Catholic. So this part was a little bar, which of course is not here anymore. I turned the air conditioner on in my car today. So imagine how nice life must have been when there's like a little bar over there. I'm not also condoning drinking because I really don't drink. But I'm not knocking it. I just don't know if we could sustain that kind of social life anymore. I'm gonna walk down to this bottom part of back to Hollywood Boulevard. I don't know what I'm saying. Am I delirious? No. I love places where people can meet up. I don't think we live that kind of life anymore where people can meet up, or where people still meet up like that. Like it's a social media world. I think I might have mentioned this. Some young people really just don't know how to respond to you anymore. I sound like an old gramps, and I don't mean all young people, but you know, when you go to the store and you say, "How are you?" You could say shitty, good, or just hi, and that's it. But just to look at somebody like they're an asswipe. What a cute charming little courtyard. Hey, Mary. Hey, everyone. I always feel bad like I shouldn't have spoke, but it is my nature to speak to people when I encounter them and show them some kind of appreciation. It just doesn't always work. This morning when I was at Petco, my favorite cashier was working. She's worked there for like 10 years. And I was so excited to see her. I don't know why. Because she's really sweet. But I didn't get her. I got another lady who was totally personable and nice. Yeah, if you have liked and subscribed, please chat. We are pretty friendly people for the most part. And if we're not friendly, I can delete you or whatever, block you. So right at the Pacific Theater, which we go to all the time, we're going to take a left on Hollywood Boulevard and walk back to Cahuenga, where is our next stop. But I actually have a picture of this particular area. I can't remember what angle it's from that we can compare. Let me get in the shade though before my matches ass. Let's see what we got. All right. So this is the building we're in front of. Right? So it's still Warner Brothers Theater. Let me see if I can make it smaller. So this is still Warner Brothers Theater. And let's see how this has changed. I hate using that thing. I can't make the picture disappear. There we go. All right. So, Warner Brothers. Oh my God. I would be so excited if these guys were like, want to look inside? And so this block, which this might be a better vantage point. I know, I love the coffee shop also. So, turn down your TV for 1 second. So this has nothing to do with really what we're talking about today, but I saw this picture and I knew we were walking by this and I really just thought it was kind of cool. So, make it go away. There we go. All right. Cool. No coffee shop. Also, so we're going, it's 70s. This was a huge radio area in the 40s and 50s. I believe CBS and NBC were here. I went to clubs and concerts by myself. I used to be not afraid of things. Nothing happened to me. I just, you know. So I'll probably add more of the old LA pics because I thought about this before. Every time we're somewhere and I've seen an old picture of it and how different it looks. Like there's one particular area of downtown that's completely changed next to City Hall. And I've mentioned it. It would be great to have some pictures to reference. I have to remember to do them though, because I don't think I can do them live. Actually, I probably could, but I'd be like fumbling. So, onto the 00 Club. Get your Aquanet out. So this 00 Club 1716. Woo. North Cahuenga. There you go. After hours, no rules. I can't think of a cooler place. So, punk history, besides it being a punk club, the original drummer to Black Flag was stabbed out on the street here. Which means you know that he was unalived. And, I forgot his name. The Kid. That's all I can remember. So he was stabbed to death right outside. Of course, it did not stop the scene. The shows went on, blood and all. So this place also kind of speaks to the DIY spirit of bands. This particular location, they booked their own gigs, made their own flyers, ran their own tiny labels in Hollywood skeleton old print shops, abandoned spaces. Perfect for that scrappy world. And we've seen the flyers. I can show you a couple. I don't know if they're all from here. This one is from the Cathay de Grande, which we will kind of see later. It's our last punk stop, sort of. And then, hold on, let's see if I can move it so I can cover this with these cool things. We've got this guy. That's also from the Cathay de Grande. I could find the most stuff on that. And then I have this one. And that's from the Masque. So, DIY spirit, I love. Breaking rules, I love. Having an attitude, I kind of love also. So there you go. That is Club 00. So eventually, LAPD cracked down, raids, beatings, intimidation, but it kind of made the scene stronger. So we're going over to Argyle to see Cathay de Grande. So by now, punk was kind of everywhere in Hollywood. It was in the streets, in the alleys, and in the headlines. This was the Greyhound terminal, by the way. I don't know if anybody cares. But the flyers back then were pretty effing cool. I say that in a punk way, right? They kind of warned you that if you come to Hollywood, you're going to be ready to bleed. Hollywood was a misfit magnet. I think we all know that. And I don't mean it in a negative way. I feel like a misfit that came here. You know? I probably would have hung out here, maybe. Definitely, actually. I like the non-mainstream kind of spirit of Hollywood. And the best part of it is when you mention you live in Hollywood to somebody from Tallahassee that hasn't been here, or somebody from Montpelier, Vermont, they're thinking you're rubbing elbows with insert star's name. They don't realize this is like an industry town with a bunch of working class people, and that the movie stars live over the hill, next city over. maybe we got a couple movie stars. I've run into Laura Dern in the market. Not my market, but Silver Lake. This is a working class town. So we're on Yucca Corridor. We're gonna cross here, Cahuenga. Further up ahead here on Cahuenga, way further up ahead, past the Hollywood Bowl, are like the banana bungalows. They're torn down now, but that was another place where it was a hostel. People just went. She might have just been at the Gelson's across from Trader Joe's. I don't know that she lives there. I lived on a street with the other mayor, Garcetti. I did not like him. And also, I think James Franco had like a, I guess, part of his acting school there, like a little tiny house. But I don't know that where this movie stars live in Silver Lake. Laura Dern feels more Brentwood or Los Feliz. And that's the rock and roll end of the gamut, the Roxy. So the decline of Western civilization, part 1, was the punk scene. I think there is a part 2 which deals with rock and roll, 80s rock and roll. David Lee Roth popped up in a few of the pictures when I was looking up information on this, which I found kind of funny. There's not just Van Halen. If you love Van Halen, good for you. I feel like Van Halen, so incredibly commercial to me that I cannot imagine them coming from punk. Thanks for the scooter alert. I'm constantly tripping on them. I will show you guys my shins at some point. Actually, I'm getting really good at not tripping on the scooters or having them smash into my thin-skinned shins and bruise them. So Cathay de Grande was Hollywood's temple. Hardcore punk temple, that is. It's really the place I could find the most information on. It's a Knickerbocker. There's our good friend, the Capitol Records. I almost called it the Hollywood Tower. I am really hot. I'm delirious. Not really. So we're going to have to dip down to get to Argyle. I mean, we really could continue up this way. But I'd like to dip down. I kind of love the Mid-Wilshire area. But I had a friend who lived on the other side of that in this 1920s sort of French-looking apartment building. She had a bathroom with a bathtub and a shower in it. And the apartment, she probably lived there for 15 years. Actually, she's kind of crazy. She paid like $600 for it. It was 2 bedrooms. She'd lived there for a long time, I'm guessing. I won't tell you her name. You don't know her anyway. Right, so I bet we can definitely come up with some more emojis for sure. With the new subscribers we added, I think we probably have room for 5 more or 3 more at the very least. So we're heading down back towards Hollywood Boulevard. Then we're going to take a left and then a right on Argyle. Argyle is just on the other side of the Pantages Theater. So I'm hoping I'm not going down too far, but I don't think I am. Oh, look, speaking of Green Day and the Go-Go's. That's pretty amazing, the people you've seen, Cecilia. Sorry, I had to go back and read a little bit. I might need to get a like white backpack. This nylon backpack is making, I bet when I take it off, I'm gonna have like a big back pit sweat. Gross, sorry for the visual. Afrojack's coming. Oh. I would love a Diet Coke on the rocks right now, I gotta tell you. Maybe we should do a Ramones emoji. Or Exene Cervenka. It's kind of weird because there's a place called LP Vinyl Bar right there, and then further down the street is a bar I think called EPLP, or maybe that's in West Hollywood. The Crosswalk. I'm gonna get in the shade. So, will we ever have stuff like the Strip again? I'm not really gonna get a Diet Coke. I sometimes feel like after having that, I feel bloated. I'm probably not gonna eat on today's stream because we're not going by anything. Also, I have to go home and make dinner. I'm trying to be well behaved with what I eat until we go to the fair. So I could try some crazy deep fried, cream filled, whatever. I think that must have been an incredible time. When I think of Los Angeles, I think of Los Angeles probably from my perspective as a child and what I thought of it. Because this is where all the TV shows came from. And Xanadu was filmed here, right? So that was my impression of what Los Angeles was. Anything you saw on TV. I think for me, 7-Eleven would come before McDonald's. So Argyle is coming up. So this is the Hollywood and Vine train station. From there, you can go anywhere. Because I drove this morning, I just had the really weird sensation right now that I was like, where did I park? I walked. Okay, kittens, we are gonna take a right here. Get in the shade. Cathay de Grande, 1600 Argyle. Not really sure if I'm going in the right direction, but I think. So remember, we're going to Hardcore Punk's Temple. We're going to be respectful. Ooh, I just stepped on a grate that blew my shorts up. Or blew up my shorts, sorry. You know, Cecilia, we're going to spend that whole $20 on donuts next week. So on Tuesday, we have the Korean Snack Challenge. We're setting up for that. That's a members-only live stream, which all of the members are invited. And then the members video, we're gonna go to California Donut and get Joe some breakfast. California Donut is kind of like Pioneer Chicken in a way. It's classic California Donut. It's from 1981. There used to be a ton more. The thing that attracted me to it most was the font on the sign it uses is very kitsch and very cool. But when I was looking up Pioneer Chicken and looking up other like California chains that had fallen by the wayside or had a couple of a couple of restaurants we could visit, I really I stumbled across California Donuts and remembered it. And then somebody wrote to me about California Donuts in the comments. So I was like, I definitely got to go. They're still making cool donuts. So 1600 Argyle Ave, I have a feeling you couldn't pay me to get in that car. And I don't mean that judging, the DMV used to be here, by the way, in one of these buildings that isn't there anymore. Hey, She Clicks Bricks. Welcome, welcome. I have been to Randy's Donuts. So when we went to Pioneer Chicken, I asked Joe if afterwards he would want to drive to Randy's because it's 13 miles away and it would be like a surprise. He did not, and good reason. It was probably like another 45-minute drive. So here it is. Quite the temple. I don't know what's shaking here nowadays. But this is what we got. Let's see if I can't really pull out. So this is like the cream of the crop punk club in Hollywood in the 1980s. There are like stories that swirl about ODs. I don't know if I can say that and keep my monetization. Fights, even bodies carried out the back door. We'll go around to the back door. But no headlines because the police did not care about what happened to punks. The police did not care about runaways. Here we have a Kobe. mural. Almost looks like he's melting. This is a curious little street up here, actually. It's kind of like, for a while, you see the little Spanish apartment building. There's a brick building on the other, or a brick colored building called El Centro. And El Centro wasn't there. All the buildings were like that little Spanish one. It was a super cute little loop. We'll walk down it. Also, Good Time at Davy Wayne's is over here. That's a club that you enter by walking through a refrigerator. I don't know if that's open anymore. It's very Hollywood, though. So, like, a lot of Hollywood kind of remains, to be honest with you, the way it was then. I mean, we're still looking at the same stores or storefronts, even if there are different shops in there. Can you imagine walking down the streets of Hollywood and there are all these punk club flyers everywhere? And then clubs popping up at in the shell of old theaters. I went to a club called The World in New York City in 1987 or 1988. It was a bombed out theater. Not bombed out, because no one ever bombed New York, but it was like the shell of a theater. I don't know how it was stable, but it was the most amazing club I think I've ever been to. I was on a lot of drugs, so I don't remember that much, and that might have led to it, but it was pretty cool. Full of runaways, punks, people sleeping in alleys. Maybe not much different than now in some ways. It's that adage that the more things change, the more things stay the same. And so, you know, because this is Hollywood, also, the media was everywhere, spreading the lies about the punks, making everything worse for the punks. There's a lady that I follow on TikTok. I can't remember her name right now. She must be a stylist, and she lives downtown. And she always has the best fits. I think that's what the kids call a look. She had on something the other day, and I was like, I'm gonna steal that look. It was a pretty cool look. I haven't stolen it yet, but I'm thinking about it. So back up to Hollywood Boulevard, and back up to the sunshine. So Hollywood was one of many of punks, LA punks' beating hearts. You know, but that pulse stretched to Boyle Heights and Lincoln Heights. East LA scene was alive with bands like The Plugs, The Brat, The Undertakers playing fierce political punk at the Vex. I don't know if any of you heard of the Vex. And then in Chinatown at the Cafe Hong Kong, or Hong Kong Cafe. That was a legendary punk hub hosting the Bags, the Germs, and Black Flag in the heart of LA's oldest district. LA has always been a patchwork of scenes, and each turning broken spaces into something unforgettable. So, the very last spot on this walk would be Hollywood and Western. I don't think much really remains from the time that we are discussing there, but this was like the epicenter of the punk world. There was not a train station here. I'm not really sure why that was the epicenter. The spot I'm talking about, a couple blocks up, there was a movie studio on Sunset and Western that was in the throes of closing during this time. I think Western in the 70s and 80s was a lot of, we've said this so many times, I'm going to get banned, a lot of PORN theaters and SEX shops. You know, before we had the internet. I loved a leather biker jacket. That was definitely a look I rocked. I always wanted leather pants. And it's not too late. I did finally get leather car seats. My biggest fake punk accessory. So I did have a nose piercing for a little while, like the guy from The Cult. Look up the band The Cult in 1986. I couldn't pull off that total look, but I tried. We used to take safety pins. And what you would do is where the safety pin popped back into the clasp, you would squeeze that so the safety pin wouldn't pop open anymore, and then cut the safety pin in the middle. Maybe this is a trick everybody knows, and I'm describing it like I'm teaching you magic. So you would cut the safety pin in the middle, and then you would just like spread it enough so that you could stick it on your nose and look like you had a safety pin going through your nose or your ear or several. I kind of look at it and feel that way about it as well, JK. It's not too late, but I probably never will do it. Also, I don't want it to be Indian leather. Remember the Indian leather scare, or like to do a couple of years ago? I found that just horrifying. So this is that little neighborhood that we were just kind of pointing at. The buildings were all kind of like that over here. I definitely had buttons. I think I had the specials. I think I wrote Gene loves Jezebel on the back of a backpack one time. Crazy. This is good time at Davy Wayne's where you got to enter through the refrigerator. The refrigerator's actually open. I'm gonna peek in. Why can't we see the fridge? You can see the fridge door open. It's a secret. For sure. Cecilia should have a channel. So that's the back of the Pantages. I'm crossing over here. I'm just gonna take these little dinky streets till we get back over to to Western to show you the last stop on our punk rock walk. I saw Gene Loves Jezebel also, I think at the Worcester Centrum. Cecilia, screw the people that think you're weird. I think the great thing about the internet, which I've been shitting on all of this podcast and how it locks people up, is that you're actually able to find groups of people like, that you can talk to that have similar interests a lot easier than you could in real life. And so there are people out there, I think, for almost every podcast. That's what this is, a podcast. Or for everybody. I feel like I was a badass chick in my own, well, a punk ass dude in my own mind also. I like to call myself punk. I think I was more punk attitude than anything. I was so punk that I once had to go to the principal's office for refusing to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance because I didn't agree with whatever the United States was doing at the time. So I have a pile of snacks sitting on my kitchen table. I cannot tell you how impossible it has been to not crack into those. I'm really looking forward to, hey, Steiny. I'm really looking forward to cracking into those Korean snacks. So Tuesday can't come soon enough. I'm going to put up a short of all the snacks we're trying. We've set up some criteria for the snack challenge also, which will be kind of fun. I'm going to use overlays. I'm also going to get a whiteboard just in case something goes awry. So we got all kinds of stuff set up for that snack challenge, but I'm going to put a short out with all the snacks so we can look at them. I'm most excited about, there's a cake that's dipped in chocolate and it's green. I thought it was matcha, but it might be pistachio, or pistachia as I like to call it. I love this street. It's a really nice little quiet spot. This is actually the street I saw the house for rent at. I'm sure it is gone. It was actually this house, and it's still for rent. Because it's probably like $6,000. Huh? It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I rented a house when I first lived here. It was just a little smaller than that. Did you call? Is it $6,000? I would never pay $6,000 for rent. First of all, I don't make that much money. In the end, what do I really get out of it? Just a place to live. It seems like an awful... I'm not shaming anybody for paying that much. I just couldn't afford to pay $6,000 for rent. But I love the fact that this neighborhood's kind of preserved, authentic. And we have walked down this street before. I just don't think, or maybe I've walked down the street after I shut off, and that's when I saw the house for rent. Oh, I know when I did it. I last walked down the street after doing a members video on my way home, not filming. But just like the stained glass windows in the front were so sweet. Not my style, but I like stuff. There's a word, and I forget it all the time. It might be a French word, but things in their place when they look right. So if I were to get a modern, build it like this modern building and then put like weird Rococo finishes on it, probably could look good, but like They would look weird and out of place, but the Rococo, which is ornate, looks really great in its place. So the stained glass windows on the Craftsman, I've never seen anything like that before, but they also look period. All right, I found my car. I will see you guys later. I'm gonna hop in my refrigerator and drive home. I'm joking, I couldn't handle that car. So the thing about $6,000 a month for living is I feel like if I were to lose my job and something were to happen, here's a Pepsi machine. I can't tell you how tempted I am. Ugh, if this Pepsi machine, it has Coke, it has Diet Coke. If this took a credit card, I'd be drinking a Diet Coke in a second. So like, if it was $6,000 that I had to pay, that would mean I'd have to, if that's a third of what, that means I have to pay $18,000 for rent. Let's say I got sick and I couldn't pay my rent for, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. That's like $18,000 of, I would never, I could never come back. $4,100 a month, that's what Joe and I were thinking. Thank you. That's out of our price range. It is 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, as long as you don't mind living with 2 dogs. One barks a lot. I like how when people are riding a scooter on the sidewalk, they give you a dirty look. It's not called the side scooter, it's called the sidewalk. I always smile though. I hope he never watches this, and here's how I call them out. I just want to stand in the shade. All right. So I'm gonna walk up this street. I never walk up it. I don't know what is here, but it's taking us to our very last destination, which is gonna be where I give you the synopsis. And then we're gonna go walk down to the Tiki Theater, just for Brave Bull, and then I'm gonna sign off. That could totally work. I can think of like interesting juxtapositions, that architectural ones that work. I'm just like, I can't think of anything to point to for an example. I'm like, okay, you got a really modern room and a rustic wood table. That could work. Okay, maybe like a fresco of the painting, like a Sistine Chapel ceiling in a cottage. I still think that might be kind of cool. Brave Bull, stay tuned. If you want to send me the money to go inside, I'll try. Super thanks. I think entry is about 30 bucks. You get to stay for a couple of hours though. And don't really do it because I'm not going inside. I can't imagine, never mind. Although when we go to the fair, I keep saying, Joe, maybe we should do a super thanks challenge to get us onto a ride. The gondola, oh my gosh, it's a Pinto. That's a car you don't see ever anymore, considering how many of them there were, but how they exploded when you rear-ended them. I would love an iced coffee, actually. But like a crappy iced coffee, not like a Starbucks made for me, whatever, foamy, like a 7-Eleven iced coffee. It's pre-sweetened. It's basically like eating a Snickers bar that's flavored like coffee. So we're on a street called Carlton. This is where they got the name for the doorman on the TV show Rhoda. I think its location, Senora, and also the timing, because 2 cities just burnt down. So this place is also for rent. 1 bedroom, 1 bath. Those are the kind of, like, when you guys ask for rental places, or like what rents, maybe Angelica's house that we just saw was a little expensive, but when you see signs like that, those are the people to call. That's like a grandma or grandpa or opa or oma or ma mère or pépère. Ooh, this has just been refurbished, and it looks like they did a really nice job of keeping it. They're still working on it. Beautiful. They could have torn it down. This is the street that Bela Lugosi unalived on, I believe. Or maybe it's a couple blocks over. It just reminds me of this street. No, it is not the street. Actually, it might be. I actually also just love old stuff. Like, I'm attracted to old stuff. Like, before my time. I have like a, I don't know, a fondness for experiences. Not a fondness, but like a nice spot for things I didn't experience, I guess. I'm not able to articulate that perfectly. Let me choke on it for a minute. Right? Batteries, we got 30%, we've got 50%. We're doing pretty good. My personal battery, I think I probably lost a pound of sweat. Ah. All right, should I go in here and get an ice cold Diet Coke? I think I will. I feel like today has been a bargain. I didn't take the train. The only thing I did was spend 72 cents at Kinko's getting a copy of getting that script printed out. So much nicer than using that phone. Go 1800s house. All right. No filming. Just kidding. I wish they had a soda machine, but they don't. I'm tempted to get M&Ms too. All right. Never take the front one. Hang tight. Hi. Oh, sorry. Thank you. No, that's fine. I know I'm charging $1.52. Maybe a little of both old soul and a past life. Thank you. Extra 50 cents. I like to believe in past lives and future lives and reincarnation. I hate to think that this is the end. Oh. Everything is much crazier now. I mean, more expensive. Well, the microphone, the DJI microphone I'm using when I bought it cost $99. I think it's $184 now, thanks to President Trump bringing down prices for us. Thank you. Okay, I'm not going to be a dick about that, because I know that we can still... I know, what the hell? I got a Diet Coke. Every sip gets me a little closer to God. I really feel bad about that, showing my frosty soda. So look, it's the 101 freeway on a Friday. It is not quite rush hour yet, but traffic is starting to crawl heading downtown. I'm not live streaming tomorrow. Well, I'm not on the records for live streaming tomorrow. We are going to live stream on Sunday. Cecilia, I promise you that in June, unless we are out of town that weekend, we are going to go to the Rose Bowl, for sure. The Rose Bowl flea market, I mean. I looked it up last night. The next one is this Sunday, and I have something to do in the early morning Sunday, so I cannot make it there. This Sunday we'll still do a live stream, maybe from another flea market. But in Sunday in June, I'll let you know, or I'll let everybody know ASAP. I just know that we're supposed to go see Joe's niece in a dance recital. If you still have a sob, this guy is awesome and still works on them. I used to have a sob. I used to have that sob, but with a roof. So remember, Sunday's Mother's Day, right? If you have a mother that you're celebrating, do something nice. If you're an orphan like myself, you can love Mother Earth and think about your mother. And then, Joe, we can send your mom something, if we haven't already. My hand is so sweaty. This Diet Coke is no longer ice cold. I'm going to stop exactly where you need to walk instead of pulling forward or pulling back, sorry. The heat makes me cranky. Can you tell? I hear a little ping. I need to check to see if I've unplugged something. Hold, please. Oi! I realize that the outfit I have on is the same color as my skin. Like, I probably look naked. Let's see, is that doing anything? Looks like we're charging. Charging. Ooh. Oh, sorry. I dropped my cheap phone, which is all plastic, so don't you worry. Didn't break. and my charging thing. So my charging thing feels like it might have broken a little bit. I think we're charging. Well, when I say it broke, like barely. It's not like I need it to be pretty. And it's charging. Well, we just need to make it to the Tiki Theater. I wonder what they're playing today. Okay, charging, nothing's unplugged. Ooh, I should have got a acai bowl. I've only recently started pronouncing it acai after years of saying, in my head mostly, acai. We could have known each other in another life. So if you go with the other lives thing, you've lived before, like, people are always like, you attract the same people, like your mother was your sister in your past life, or I almost said your lover. She was not. So maybe I think you attract people from your past lives. We knew each other on another plane. Flavors from afar. That looks like a really awesome little spot to hang out and do some work. So already, like the thing about, oh, that was not that expensive gas, BD. I'm sorry if I'm not responding to anybody. I used to have this baby blue car right here. Never the baby blue version, but the khaki version. Imagine if I was driving that car today in my all khaki outfit. Tell me if I look naked. It's literally all the same color. They probably wonder what I was doing. Okay. So one sign I really love is this Hollywood Downtowner motel sign. If I've mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. But it looks like this hotel was actually open a couple years ago, maybe pre-COVID, as recent as that. And they're kind of refurbishing it. I think it would be like such a sweet, cool place to, like, I don't know, have fun and hang out on Hollywood Boulevard. It's just got vibes up the wazoo. I don't know if it has a pool though. Oh, I'm so excited for this next block. All right, I gotta ditch this soda now. It's like kind of hot out, so it's gone flat already, and it tastes really like aspartame. Oh. Oop, I see a trash can up ahead on my left. It's a trash can with the tiniest trash can inside of it. All right. Didn't really make a lot of sense. So in reading about, I've gone to the Pasadena Rose Bowl flea market in the past, I really will apologize for not being as talkative and answery and high as much as usual. I'm not ever high, but you know what I mean, like saying hi as much. The screen is so dark. My eyes are full of sweat. And I'm dressed in appropriate clothing, but I look naked to other people. Just kidding. So, but hi everybody, thanks for watching. I do want to take a second before we go anywhere to mention that my thing is beeping again, but mention that we do have memberships. I thank you, Cecilia, for buying a couple memberships. We do stuff on every Tuesday. We're doing 2 things this Tuesday. One is a live stream from my house where we taste snacks. The other one is a members video, which will probably be 4K because I really enjoy filming with that camera. Super discreet. So I'm going to go in the shade so I can read again. And did I forget any pictures that I wanted to show you for our walk? I did. This one. Punkers. I read a lot about a guy named Top Johnny or Top Jimmy. We didn't really talk about... So in 1983, I didn't mention this. I'm not even looking at my notes. In 1983, there was this guy that did like a punk new wave show. And he, in his apartment, was bludgeoned to death, part of that scene also. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything, because this last spot, again, Hollywood and Western, that's where we are, was Punk's Daytime HQ. So now it is... I looked for pictures of what this looked like then, and I really couldn't find any pictures. I thought that would be really interesting to see, because this is the Petco I was at this morning. That's where my favorite lady works. Like, I love seeing pictures of this neighborhood, even if it was derelict or from another time. I love old pictures of Western when the movie studio was there and it was porn theater, porn theater, porn theater. I love it. I know I said it again, sorry. So I want to thank the members for your support, doing great things with that support and trying to have some fun. And trying not to eat too many pastries or fried things, but I can't thank you enough. So during the daytime, this would not have been here. Probably the only building that was here then was the Jamba Juice, kidding, was this guy, the Hollywood and Western building, also known as the Louis B. Mayer building. This is from 1929. It was the CVS. Punkers would not have liked Louis B. Mayer. He was who the punkers were trying to rebel against. So when I say the way I was punk was that I think I was a rebel against society and establishment. I didn't have a mohawk, but I did have matted, dyed black hair. Once. And I also had a half-shaved head. A lot. And I also hated President Reagan. And I still do. And Margaret Thatcher, for that matter. And so if punks showed us anything good, and they did. Standing up and making your way. And drugs, of course. Anyway. We didn't really focus on the mystery so much. I really did want to talk a little bit more about Bambi. And a couple of other disappearances of mostly women over there. But I'm going to pause for a moment. I think we talk about these people disappearing all the time and being forgotten all the time. A couple of weeks ago, or on another walk, when we were walking up Vine, we were talking about people that used to disappear from Vine all the time in the 50s and 60s. So right there is an ice cream shop. And I actually thought maybe we could go there, but it's closed. It's closed. So from this point on, we are just going to go straight to the Tiki Theater and the 101 Freeway, and then I'm going to head out. The only place to get, that Diet Coke was great, and I really would love a bucket of ice cream, but I think I'm going to wait till I get home. It just seems like no person who it's happened to's fault. I'm not placing any, I'm not victim blaming, but I think some people are lost and fall prey to that a little easier. I mean, look at the followers of Charlie Manson. You're eating a burger when you get home, Joe. Remember, it's double burger week. But first, maybe I'll go to John's or Ralph's before I go home to pick up some. We don't have any lettuce. Is Brave Bull still here? I really hope so. So I think this theater, this might be the last. Oh, I hate to see a dog off a leash. I know it's cool. I think this might be the last porno theater in LA. Are you ready? Please turn down the radio if you have children in the room. They don't have any, you can't really, it's not like dirty looking. Well, it's dirty looking, but it's not like XXX in nature from the outside. So also coincidentally, there's a SEX shop on this street also. I'm not too bright. There's an SEX shop. Did you guys see that? I don't know if I showed you the guy driving into the wrong lane to hit me. That's how much people love a streamer. We're just looking from the outside. And we're not here to shame anybody who's might be going in or whatever. That's not what we're about. We're just curious. Like the Scientology posters. I just need I've got buns. I just need some vegetable in that burger. I bought 4 burger patties, and we had burgers yesterday and burgers tonight. I'm sorry, I know, kooky, right? We usually don't do that, have burgers every night. More like tacos. But I'm really committed to not wasting any more food and eating what I buy, as boring as that is. Okay, so let's do something fun. Let's walk on the highway. That will help us skip one crosswalk. I'm gonna make the burger healthy. It's very lean beef. But we have been eating a lot of salad things, bowl things. So burgers 2 nights in a row won't be so bad. We had, I think we're gonna make sweet potato on the side. Joe bought some sweet potato fries last night from the market. And it was sweet potato, chickpea, and something else. I love and also sometimes don't like the flavor of chickpea, which doesn't really have much of a flavor. But I could only taste the chickpea in those fries, and for some reason I didn't love them. And they were also more like tater tots. What kind of pasta? Elio's pizza. Oh, really? I could eat some pizza also. But we have to eat those burgers. They go bad tomorrow. I don't know when they go bad. I bought them on Wednesday or Thursday. I kind of feel like one of my arms is sunburnt. But I look at it and it looks just as white as ever, so maybe later. Alright. My favorite thing is how quickly people want to get on the on-ramp right here, and how they'll like drive over you to like get on here and wait till you see where they're going once they turn. I'm gonna be a jerk and mow you over. All to do this. You're gonna be sitting there for 20 minutes. Happy Friday, mother. All right, let's walk on the freeway. I love the day that I discovered this. I think I have a solar battery pack on my back. That makes it sound giant, but just to get a little extra charge if I need it. And I saw its shadow. It looked like a rodent. So we're walking faster than folks on the 101. Not really. I love butternut squash, anything. So there's like a commuter bus stop down here, but it's so weird. Like these stairs look like they're from the 50s or 60s. This is a really interesting spot. So the 101 freeway dissected all these little neighborhoods. That is, I think, Lexington Avenue. You can kind of see the apartment building style on the left and the apartment building style on the right. And imagine what's missing from there. It's really kind of interesting and run down in that little area too. It's called Oxford Street. When I used to smoke cigarettes, I would walk down Oxford Street. This way, when I was smoking a cigarette, I wasn't blowing it on anybody. So we crossed the 101 freeway. I think it's weird too, but Los Angeles in the 50s had a lot of like tunnels. And not like the tunnels for carrying illegal liquor, but like tunnels across the street. There's definitely like a YouTube video or two about the tunnels. The tunnels were there so that children could cross the street and people could cross the street safer. They were getting hit a lot in the olden days. And of course, the tunnels were sponsored by the automotive industry, so they really were to just like keep the laws off of the cars. And I don't know. Again, my brain, I'm hot. Something like that, I would say. So all of this area that we are actually walking in, Western, was pretty seedy also in the 80s. The movie studio, a movie studio was at the top. All of a sudden I can't remember what name, but that's neither here nor there. Maybe Universal. And so after that went, this whole area probably like a little downtown where you can actually see little restaurants over there. Some of them are still open. There was a huge Sears which fell down a couple months ago, maybe a year ago. Just like a whole other little downtown that once the industry left, kind of left this. And I think it was more dangerous over here, probably in the 70s and 80s. Not so dangerous, it's just still a little neglected feeling. Like the Virginia building, you don't just name a building, you name it because you're proud of it. Like, all right, we're approaching Santa Monica. Or maybe a block away. Here's a movie theater that has become a church. And then on the right is Secrets of Hollywood. It's Hollywood's best kept secret. You can get sexy lingerie, bedroom toys, fetish gear, and they have a movie arcade. I wonder if that's still there. That seems like a bygone era thing. Hey, Mars Madness. Hey, welcome. Welcome everybody who's just signed on. We're just gonna head to the theater. And if you're new, you'll find out about the theater. So the question is, do we cross the street and get close to the theater, or do we view it from afar? All right. We're gonna cross the street. I feel like I might cut this out of the video later because I don't want to shame anybody. No, beef farts. Oh, I'm gonna stand in the shade for 1 second. I'm gonna let this person walk. They're not going into the theater, although it looks like they are. All right. So, relatively discreet, actually, compared to, I remember the theaters in the red light district in Boston. Oh, gee. Um, so there you go. $30 for 12 hours. You know what? I never started my watch again today, but I've closed my exercise ring on its own. It usually closes on its own when I forget to turn it off. So we are going to see the 101 freeway, and then I'm going to sign off for today as we head into Little Armenia, and then I will work on some emojis for Sunday and put some posts up. I might put a couple of shorts up because I have a couple in the wings. I'm sorry about all the shorts. I don't really love making them, but they are kind of good for getting people to watch, I guess, or whatnot. And they're pretty addictive to make, and I'm getting better and better at them, so they should be slightly less crappy. I made one of my dogs sniffing various things yesterday. I tried to find the Imagine Dragons song. This is my kingdom come. It seems to be a song that everybody's using for those TikTok shorts where they're like walking in the forest and having a deep moment. I think the song is terrible, but my dog is not. And every sniff on the walk, it's like his kingdom come. He cannot move until he is done. It's a dog's life. I'm glad. They're just like little light chunks. So, 101 Freeway, Little Armenia, although you can barely read it. This guy is going to be so disappointed when he pulls onto the freeway and he just sits there for 25 minutes. This one is actually a little better. Good luck. Have fun. Actually, that guy rode into the crosswalk while I was walking in it, which is why I said good luck and have fun. Positive message, but where is he now? He's gonna rush to sit there? F you. Anyway, just kidding. I want to end this on a pleasant note. I want to thank you guys. That was it for the tiki. We're not going in or behind it. It's just like a little storefront. I can't imagine what it looks like on the inside. If it's like an old-timey Nickelodeon or something. Maybe I'll find out on a members only video. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today. Thanks for getting punk with me. Not so mysterious. That was my take on the Sex Pistols album cover, by mind you, with a Hollywood starlet. We did creep by the theater quickly because a guy came out of it and I was embarrassed. Thank you guys so much for being here. We were definitely live in Hollywood today. Again, I thank my members. I'm going to play that for you because I am extra thankful. We will be live streaming on Sunday. We will be live streaming for members on Tuesday night, trying some Korean snacks. Members video on Tuesday also, and then yeah, so live streaming on Sunday, then we're back Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Oh, very stinky spot I'm standing in, sorry. How would you know? Because you don't want the shoes to get sticky from people who have spilled their soda, their Sprite. Anyway, that's gross. We're better than this. Please don't tell anybody I took you to a porno theater. But I wanted to record that for posterity because who knows how much longer there'll be that. Anyway, I'm gonna sign off here. Thank you guys so much for joining Walking in LA. Thanks for walking with me. Have an awesome Friday night. Party responsibly. And I will see you on Sunday. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Brave Bull. We still went there. I wasn't gonna go in. Okay, hugs. See you Sunday. Thank you so much. Oops, before I go.